What's going on, guys? This is Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ, now presented by the Sleeper Wire Network. I joined up with these guys. They got big plans coming. Be on the lookout. You can follow them on Twitter at the Sleeper Wire Show for daily updates. They got the latest news of what's going on in the league, suspensions, injuries, camp buzz, everything that you need. The information is there. Also, your boy partnered up with draft.com and they gave me my own promo code. What do you know? RDFHQ is the promo code. When you sign up using it, you get a $3 free ticket. Now, with the deposit, it gives you extra $3 that you can place on any game or any draft or any best ball leagues that you're trying to get into. So, the promo code is down below and also right here somewhere floating on the screen. Now, I want you guys to understand when you guys sign up, it will help me out and it will definitely help you guys out with a free $3 ticket. So, just again, link down below, look out for it. But today's episode, for most importantly, is a price check on a couple of these guys. George Kittle, Leonard Fournette, and Dalvin Cook. Basically looking at these guys' ADPs, if they're worth taking or if the price is right, taking them there, or where you won't feel like you're getting scammed into taking that ADP or where this guy is at. So all the things will be broken down today if that ADP is right for you, and it will bring home the gold. Again, Dalvin Cook, George Kittle, and Leonard Fournette. So let's get right into the episode. First up, we got Leonard Fournette for the Jags. Now, very underwhelming stats. His current ADP is at 305. He had 439 yards rushing, 5 touchdowns, and he averaged 3.3 yards per carry. Not good, people, but it wasn't Fournette's sole fault of why his stats were underwhelming. He had terrible quarterback play. The O-line fell apart. Like, he had like 4 or 5 O-line offensive linemen that were just dealing with injuries. So week after week, it was just bad. And then Fournette had his own mess going on where, you know, it's either he's dealing with suspension or he's dealing with injuries with his ankles that are made of like grandma tissue. So it's like he just couldn't stay healthy. You know, the hamstring was bothering him, came back, got hurt again. So he has all these issues floating around him that is lingering over his value at the 3rd round. Fournette, unfortunately, faced stacked boxes more often than not. So with a beat-up O-line, it's just not going to help his production. They ranked 9th in most faced stacked boxes this season. So teams were trying to take advantage of a beaten and battered Leonard Fournette and a beaten and battered O-line with a very shitty quarterback. So his stats are what they are, but I still like Fournette in the 3rd round. So the price is right here for me. Let me just say that now. I was hating on Leonard Fournette, you know, with his attitude and, you know, basically the beef that he had with the executive office and all this floating around, this beef with Tom Coughlin and all this other crap going around, and just having a bad attitude in that running back room. So at some point, I thought he was going to get traded this offseason, but he actually sat down with the executives and cleared all that up. So all that's behind him. Brand new season. You got a brand new offensive coordinator, and you got a brand new quarterback in Nick Foles coming in to step in. Now, when Fournette was actually on the field playing, he put up great numbers, people. He put up RB2 numbers or better week to week. So when he's on the field, he's going to give you value. He's going to give you production. He's going to give you the points. He's an every down back, and he's the goal line back. So he's getting touchdowns also. So again, we need him healthy to stay on the field and stay out of trouble also. So again, I like his value in the 3rd round, but I wouldn't go reaching in the 2nd round or anything like that. I don't think anybody's going to be doing that, but I have been seeing that people are reaching on Fournette because of the drop-off after the 2nd round of running backs. So where he's at right now in the 3rd round, I'm comfortable with taking him there at the 305 spot, and he has so much upside going into this next season. Like I mentioned before, he has a new offensive scheme in this, a new OC. John DeFilippo, he is the guy that loves to throw the ball. He would throw the ball 60 to 70 times a game if he could. So you got a new quarterback in Nick Foles, and it's a slight upgrade from, you know, the name that we shall not ever repeat ever again. Trash boat. He's gone for good. So a slightly upgraded quarterback only means that it can help the O-line that they addressed in the draft. Also, that they tried to rebuild and bring in some help. And also, it helps out Fournette in the passing game. Leonard Fournette is actually a good pass catcher. I don't expect 60 to 70 balls being caught, but I'm okay with 50 to 55 catches. Also, with a ton of touchdowns behind that with a healthy Fournette. John DeFilippo likes to get his running backs involved in the passing game, and Nick Foles even mentioned during the camp buzz and the camp reported that he loves the way that he's able to throw the ball to his running back. So he loves how the chemistry is building with him and Leonard Fournette, and John DeFilippo's offense is excelling right now. So there's a lot of camp buzz going on, but I do like that he wants to put Leonard Fournette into that scheme to where he's heavily involved in the passing game. So that only means Leonard Fournette's value in PPR formats is going to rise, people. So him in the third round, I'm actually okay with. But here's the thing. With expectations for Leonard Fournette, you have to have the understanding of how your roster is going to be folding in the round 1 and 2. So in the third round, and you go and get Leonard Fournette, you need to expect the baggage he comes with, the risk, the injuries, the off-field issues, and just a whole bunch of mess going on with Leonard Fournette. But again, I'm willing to roll the dice on Leonard Fournette, only being that this new offensive scheme and how it looks, and Nick Foles back there behind the lines. So with that clear understanding of taking Leonard Fournette in the third round, it needs to be understood that he is not going to be the powerhouse that leads you to the championship. He's not going to be the guy you try to anchor on for him to be, the big stud that you expect to come in the first and second round, where you should have had been taking, a stud running back or even a stud running back in the second round. So it's just an understanding with you and your roster, and just know that he comes with a lot of baggage and there's some risk there. So if you're okay with taking Leonard Fournette in the third round and understanding that he's not going to be the guy that carries your team to the playoffs, he's not going to be the guy that brings home the gold. So you have to have that understanding with taking Leonard Fournette. But the price is right here, people. The third round, I do believe, is kind of a steal, because before we seen him going in the first round and then the second round. So this year with him in the third round, I do like it because I can get great value in the rounds before him. I can literally go running back, wide receiver, and then grab Leonard Fournette in the third round with him having such a high ceiling going into this new offense. So I'm all for taking Leonard Fournette in the third round. The price is right, people. This is a steal. Next up, we got George Kittle for the 49ers. He had 1,377 yards, which broke the tight end yard record. He had 5 touchdowns, 88 receptions, and he averaged 15.6 yards per catch, people. What elite numbers. He put up elite numbers even with the circus of quarterbacks going on there. He had the 2 injured quarterbacks, and he had this guy called Nate Mullen, the unsung hero. Now, Jimmy G is back and healthy, so it should help Kittle to try to mirror his last year's stats going into this next season. But I do believe things will be altered. I don't think he will mirror those stats. I do think that it will be slightly different for your expectations of taking him this high at 311, his current ADP is. So, hear me out. Now, you got a Dante Pettis back and healthy. He has this hype train behind him that I think big things are going to happen for Dante Pettis. Also, they went into the draft, drafting 2 rookies, Deebo Samuel, which I think is the next big thing for that offense in the second round. Third round, they grabbed another guy called Jalen Hurd. Now, it looks like they're very invested into these 2 rookies, so they will be heavily involved in the offense. Also, you need to note that, his offense, Shanahan's offense, is meant to be spread around. Also, to put into the equation, they also have a crowded running back room where they have a bunch of pass catchers that Shanahan wants to get involved with. Now, we know the history between Tevin Coleman. He should have the leg up in training camp to be the leading running back to get involved into this offensive scheme. So with the history there with Shanahan and Tevin Coleman, I do believe that the chunk of targets will be taken from Kittle, from Dante Pettis, from Deebo Samuels, and Jalen Hurd. There's a bunch of people that are moving around on this offense where the ball will be spread around. You have to understand, with Jimmy G going down, that altered Kyle Shanahan's plan for the entire season. Nobody expected that. Nobody's seen that to happen. The offense was very desperate to find a guy who could step up and be that reliable target once all these people went down. And also, not to mention, Marquise Goodwin, the speedster, is back and healthy. So he's definitely looking to make an impact when healthy, if he can stay healthy, to that offense. So it's a lot of moving parts right now for you to actually believe that Kittle will mirror or even come close to the stats that he had last season, which I do think one stat will increase, and that'll be his touchdowns. I think Jimmy G will look for Kittle in the red zone, the big body guy. He has speed. He can make plays after the ball's in his hand also. So I do believe his touchdowns will go up, but I think the yards may go down and the receptions might take a slight dip. I don't like to use the word decline with George Kittle, but I do believe that it just won't live up to expectations of what you're expecting from last season going into this next season. So the gang's all here. Everybody's nice and healthy. So the targets will be spread apart. The offense is meant to be spread around. And then you got running backs that will take a chunk of those targets also, Tevin Coleman. You also have to put in consideration that the third round for a tight end, I'm not feeling it. I've never been a tight end guy. Like, I would jump on Ertz and Kelsey, being that I know they're elite guys. They've been doing it year after year after year. Their situation wasn't dependent on their entire offense being injured to where they have to step up and be that only reliable target to be that guy. Now, in Kittle's situation, they had running backs go down. They had their quarterback go down. They had bunch of receivers go down at once. So it's like Kittle was the only source there to be that guy to step up and to be that reliable target. That's why he broke the tight end record for the yards. So it's like the situations are way different and why I wouldn't reach this high for Kittle. I do believe he'll still, perform as a top 3 tight end, behind Kelsey and Ertz. He'll still have that gap between, the tier 3, the tier 4 tight ends. But I do believe going in the third round and getting the Kittle is a bit of a risk. And that's what you having expectations of him just going off and killing it. And of course, I'm talking PPR formats. So don't blast my comments on Instagram, Twitter, or whatever talking about standard. Nobody plays standard anymore. That's fucking caveman. Anyway, now you have to go into it knowing that you only need one tight end. Like, you're drafting only one tight end. So for a position where I only need one person of one player of, it's like you need multiple wide receivers. You need multiple running backs. So the third round, there's plenty of great options there in the third round that you can have at running back and wide receiver. So if I'm going to reach, I will reach on Ertz and Kelsey, not Kittle. I'm not riding this Kittle hype train. I was the first time hesitant in the last couple of weeks on Kittle in a mock draft. I'm like, damn, this doesn't seem right. This doesn't feel right. Like, only need one tight end. So why would I do this right now in the third round? You still have great guys sitting there. So again, some guys may feel different in the third round of grabbing Kittle, but you do have to put in consideration of the situation that he was in to where he had no choice to be the guy. This guy played through like cracked ribs, I heard, like the last couple of weeks. So they were still like nowhere near 500. So I don't know why he played anyway. So it's like, that shows heart, or you're just dumb. You could have, destroyed yourself for longer in injury, but whatever. That's neither here or there. But still, Kittle has heart. Kittle's a big target for Jimmy G. I just don't think he will be the focal point in that offense to where you can ignore a Dante Pettis, or you can ignore Marquise Goodwin, or you can ignore the rookies, Deebo Samuels and Jalen Hurd. You can't ignore Tevin Coleman being a great pass catcher out of the backfield. So this offense is going to be booming. This offense has potential to be a top 10. And I'm really excited what the 49ers can do, even though I'm a Rams fan, and we're still going to crush you guys. But anyway, I'm really excited to see what Jimmy G can do. Hopefully he's worth the money. Hopefully he's worth the hype. But again, I don't think the price is right on George Kittle. I think it's too much of a risk and too much of a reach, and it's too expensive for my taste. Next up, we got Dalvin Cook. He had 615 yards rushing. He had 4.7 yards per carry, 40 receptions, and 4 touchdowns. His current ADP is at 205. And I know you're thinking in your brain, and what's clouding your judgment is that the injuries, people. He seems to be injury prone. But I don't want to label him just yet. Now, in his rookie year, he tore his ACL in like week 4. So nobody's seen that coming. He had a hot start. Everybody was broken, and dreams were broken for the championship when Dalvin Cook went down, and it was very unfortunate. And then in week 2 this past season, he injured his hamstring where he missed 4 to 5 games. He came back against the Rams, and he might have tweaked it, in the first quarter, so they played it safe and kept him out, and then they kept him out the next game. So 4 to 5 games he missed with the hamstring. problem, but I think that's all behind us people going into this next season. Now, I love Dalvin Cook's ceiling going into the next season. I do like his value in the second round. He has a new offensive coordinator, Gary Kubecki. I think I said that right. Kubecki? Whatever. So he has a new offensive coordinator. Vikings are already a high power offense, so they're scoring a lot of points, and I do like the direction they're going into to be a run first offense. This only means Dalvin Cook value goes up. It's just that the lingering, injury here, injury there is in your minds, but I do want to roll the dice on Dalvin Cook. So I do like this price. And I do hope to believe that they will still get Dalvin Cook involved in the passing game. He had 40 receptions last year, but I do think that he can probably get about 15 to 20 more catches to where it makes him more of a PPR threat. Now, even with him missing those games, I do like that, 40 catches, it's a little bit impressive to me where, you got a guy dealing with hamstring injuries that can just linger throughout the season. So I'm impressed, honestly. I do want him to get more involved in the passing game, but he is a true threat in the passing game. I think we forget that. He's ranked second in the NFL for juke rate, and he's ranked 8th for invading tackles. So this guy can break tackles and make plays after the catch. So I do want him to be my RB2 going into this next season. Now, I will draft, me personally, I'll draft a stud running back in the first round if I can. And I'll be A-okay of getting Dalvin Cook early in the second round or even the mid-second round to be my guy, my RB2. I'll roll the dice on him. I think what's keeping Dalvin Cook out of the first round, obviously, again, is his injury. He's a solid RB2, but a low-end RB1, so this can change if only he could stay healthy. If he stays healthy, he could possibly be a top 7 running back going into this next season. That is a little bit, optimistic, but I do think it's actually doable for Dalvin Cook in this high-power offense. Vikings scores a lot of points, people, so I do believe Dalvin Cook will be involved to where he'll be, instead of 4 touchdowns, he could put up like 8 or 9. I'm okay with that. The Vikings in the NFL draft, they picked up, Alexander Madison in the 3rd round, so that is pretty much an insurance policy just in case Dalvin Cook does go down. Now, he could be getting some goal line work. He's a bigger running back, so he could look like he can get some goal line work, but I do believe that Dalvin Cook is locked in this heavy running scheme to be the guy to every down back. Alexander Madison, I don't think is a good handcuff. I don't think he's worth drafting. I think he's one of those guys you just keep an eye on or put him on your watch list. I don't think he'll be drafted. I think he'll go undrafted to where you can pick him up on waivers if Dalvin Cook does go down. So I don't think there's much of a threat in that running back room to Dalvin Cook's job. So I do think Alexander Madison, being that he's heavily invested in the 3rd round to be picked, I do believe he will be the guy to step in if Dalvin Cook does go down. But again, I don't think he's worth drafting, so it's not much of a handcuff where you need to go get this guy. Dalvin Cook in the 2nd round, I'll take him over I Prove Nothing, Damian Williams, and I'll take him over, Leonard Fournette. I'll even take him over Derrick Henry, who's going to have a slow start. So I do like his value there. Even with guys that are dropping to the 2nd round, like Melvin Gordon, he's holding out right now, so it's up in the air what's going on. He wants to be traded. He wants to do all this other stuff. He denied a $10 million contract. Hey, give it to me. What do I know? But anyway, so with that all going on, I'll take him over in Melvin Gordon in the 2nd round because I don't want to fall victim to, a Le'Veon Bell 2.0 holdout. So you don't want to be that guy that goes and gets Melvin Gordon and he's fucking home now. I think he's a man of his word. And we've seen the video. Like, he applauded Le'Veon Bell for what he did to hold out. So I do think he's going in that direction. But I do think the Chargers will give in and actually pay him his money. I think he only wants like $1.5 million or $2 million, raise upon that $10 million contract. I don't know. I think Melvin Gordon's worth 12 million every year. I don't know. Who knows? But that's another thing. So I do believe I'll take Dalvin Cook over Melvin Gordon in the 2nd round, being with this holdout over him. I don't want to be that guy. I'll even take him over Nick Chubb. Half season Nick Chubb. I don't know. Nick Chubb's going to kill it. I know he's going to kill it. But Kareem Hunt's going to come back, and then that momentum's going to go right down as soon as playoffs come. As soon as playoffs come, Kareem Hunt's not coming in to be splitting carries with no Nick Chubb. Kareem Hunt is coming in to be Kareem Hunt and do elite numbers again. So that's my only problem with Nick Chubb. I think everybody know that. I think I've voiced that multiple times where I don't feel comfortable taking Nick Chubb in the second round, being that he's going to be hot for 6 to 8 weeks, and then boom, nothing. What a waste. So overall, I am sold on Dalvin Cook. I am rolling the dice. I'm putting all bets on black right now on Dalvin Cook. And I do believe the injury is something to build a case on to not take him in the second round. But a solid RB2, low-end RB1, I'll take that all day, especially with a high-power offense, people. So I like the price. The price is right here for my man Dalvin Cook. So that wraps up another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ. Again, now presented by the Sleeper Wire Network. Go follow them on Twitter at Sleeper Wire Show. They got big plans, big moves coming in the near future. And I told you they can give you all the injury reports, all the camp buzz, everything you need to know, trades, people that are just being slouches and being babies about the contracts, Zeke, Melvin Gordon. But anyway, just the latest news on everything you need to know from Sleeper Wire Show. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Leave a comment below what you guys think about George Kittle ADP, what you guys think about Leonard Fournette and Dalvin Cook's ADP. So again, I'll see you guys next week for another great episode of Real Deal Fantasy HQ with your boy LQ. Peace.